Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuhuvanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Welcome all of you for the session 2 on the topic of self-care for long enduring success. We are all living in an age which is very fast-paced, and a lot of things are changing. The markets are changing, the world situation is changing, governments are changing, and people working in a company are changing, with whom we may be working. People are swiftly changing from one company to another. What to speak of all these things changing? Even our own body is changing from childhood to youth to old age. And the COVID period recently brought a great stress to the people in terms of the market situation. In this way, we are living in an ever fastly changing world, creating a great flux, and that produces a lot of tension in our minds because of uncertainty and also because of being uncontrollable. Things are all uncertain around us, and we don't have control over them, and that produces a lot of tension. So, therefore, while living in such a fast paced jet age, we have to take care of ourselves. So, therefore, this topic of self care will teach us many, many practical tips on how to take care of yourself so you can have a very healthy and happy life. These are the topics I'll be covering: eat pure and stay healthy, exercise, pranayama, and yoga, early to bed and early to rise, and harmless recreations, and how to be an ideal yogi, and bhakti yoga for all round health. Let's go. So, I'm quickly revising some of the slides which I did last time in session 1. This was the topic last time: how to empower yourself in your daily life by self awareness. The very first thing we learned was, when we talk about self, what are we talking about? Not just the body. The body, which is very attractive externally, that eventually withers away. It gets old, it gets diseased, and it's finished, it's burnt to ashes. That's not the real self. Then are we the mind? The mind is also changing, sometimes accepting, sometimes rejecting, sometimes depressed, sometimes happy. We are not the changing mind, we are the unchanging self. Lord Krishna teaches this in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 13th verse. As you see, the yellow one, he says that you are resident of this body. Understand this most important truth, Arjuna. Everything else is changing outside, but you are unchanging. God is unchanging and the soul is unchanging. And therefore, stick on to the unchanging things. Then you will never suffer by the whims and fancies of the nature, the world around you creating changes. So, therefore, we are all spiritual beings with a human experience, and we are all potentially divine. Like you see the soul coming out of the body. We are different from the body. We are covered by two coverings: subtle covering and gross covering, as shown here. Then we also talked about the yellow band is actually showing that the soul is divine, but we are covered by a red band, which is acquired qualities like rainwater catching mud when it comes to ground. But we have to get rid of this muddy qualities, red zone. How do we do that? We have to change our this thing. Tab. I have shown all of them in one slide here. We change our thinking in two ways. One is you do self-awareness, observe yourself. I am attached to my opinion or I am detached from my opinion, things like that. And then we also change our thinking by positive outlook. We have to give up a negative outlook and take a positive outlook. These are the two things we have to do to change our thinking. And we change our behavior by three things: what is right, choose the right, and follow a discipline, by which behavior can be changed. And our attitude can be changed only by one change: accept responsibility. Instead of saying, I know it all, say that I can listen. I quit the team. Instead of saying that, you can say, I will tolerate and watch. So, in this way, change the attitude by accepting responsibility. So, out of the three, behavior is the most superficial, more deeper is thinking, and deepest is attitude. So, these three matter a lot in your happiness. So, we have to make all these three positive, and that will be possible if you attend these 10 sessions. I am actually focusing on one vital theme every time. This time I am focusing more on the body, and in another session I'll focus more on the mind. In this way, by attending this sessions, you will catch up many things. Now, This also last time we showed, and then I showed you Nachiketa story, how Nachiketa wanted to learn about the what happens beyond death. So Yama explained to him, and because of seeing the sincerity of the boy, and he explained this one, how the five senses, our eyes, nose, ears, tongue, and skin are like five horses, and the ropes represent the mind, and the driver is the intelligence, and the white person is the soul. That is us, the resident of the body. So if you strengthen the intelligence, you can control the mind. When you control the mind, you can control the senses. So intelligence, mind, and senses are like husband, wife, and children. It's like that. So that's what he teaches, as you see in the picture here. So the soul, if we want to see your soul peaceful, we have to actually learn about all this. Therefore, last time we learned about mind, intelligence, tug of war also. So as human beings, we all can do this. We can know the causes, find out the cause of why are we suffering, what is the ultimate purpose of life, and how do we harmonize with God and nature, and how to be happy. So also, there are two words used, Kripana and Brahmana. Yeah, Brahmana is that human being who researches into the meaning of life, purpose of life, and he truly becomes happy by doing self-awareness, understanding the soul. But Kripana is one who just lives like cats and dogs, chasing after the petty pleasures of the world, which are temporary, which are bestial pleasures. Eat, drink, and be merry, and he doesn't know any higher goal of life. Like when I was in IIT Bombay, I remember some boys would join this club, that club. They would go for playing. They would go for multiple activity, extracurricular activity, and they forgot to study the main subject for which they came there. After 4 years of B.Tech, they couldn't graduate because they were too much preoccupied with varieties of extracurricular activities. Similarly, in this world, when we come, our main goal is to graduate from this world and go back to the place from where we have come, which is called Vaikuntha, we call it. But the soul has come from there. Instead of going there, people get caught up in extracurricular activities in this world. I want to do this, I want to try this, I want to try that. Therefore, Kripana is like that. But Brahmana is one who is goal-oriented. He knows in whatever situation, he will do his business, he will run his family, he will do everything. At the same time, he will be goal-oriented. Therefore, in human life, you can make the inquiry and you can be promoted to higher life. Or we make no inquiry, we are demoted to lower forms. So we have the choice in the human form of life. Therefore, I congratulated everybody who joined this course that you have made the choice to promote yourself to higher life. So this is for the session today. Let's proceed from here. You learn about food, exercise, sleep, harmless recreation, all these important things to have a healthy body. Now, when we talk about the body and mind, you see, we want to have a healthy body. For what? So that we can actually, we are the resident of this body. We are going to reside in this body. And residence has to be good, isn't it? Like you are going in a car. If the car has to be repaired, you have to repair it. I think it's coming. The car has to be repaired, isn't it? Similarly, body is like a car. In a car, you put water in the radiator, air in the tire, isn't it? Petrol in the car. Similarly, here also we put food, we put water, we put air in the nose, isn't it? So the body is very much like a car. Car has four wheels and we have two hands and two legs. Everything is similar. But we are resident of the body. Similarly, the driver is residing in the car. So that goal will become very clear today. Why are we taking care of this bodily car? See, here is a beautiful inquiry by Narada when he came to Yudhishthira's palace in Indraprastha. He asked him, you all know these four Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. He asked him, are you forsaking Artha, that means profit, for the sake of Dharma? That means, you are all the time in religion after God, but you are not earning Artha, money. Or are you chasing after money is honey, but you are not doing Dharma? Or are you forsaking both Dharma and Artha for the sake of Kama, which is actually the petty pleasures, eating, drinking, smoking and everything, which actually saps human energy and wastes one's human form of life. So out of the three, which one you are doing? Are you balancing? Like that Narada asked a question. So for us also, it's very important that may we be saved from putting the pleasure and penny before our holistic health. Holistic health means body, mind, soul. We need to be very healthy in body, mind and soul. But if you chase after the petty pleasures of the world, eat, drink, and be merry, we will spoil our health. And if we chase after penny, we may have a lot of penny in our pocket, a lot of money will be there, but many a times the relationships are finished because a man chased only after money. People, after having acquired a lot of money, many times suffer in loneliness, isn't it? Therefore, we want to balance. Uh, yeah, like here you see work-life balance. We have four aspects of life: PQ, IQ, EQ, SQ, and all these four has to be balanced for a happy and healthy life. Now you see here, mm, physical. If I take very good care of my body, then I am called a good animal. I take care of my diet, sleep, exercise, and everything. Really, am I a good animal? Yes, because animals also take care of themselves, their body. They don't do anything beyond that, isn't it? But now, if we take care of our intellectual aspect, which means to study books in your own field of profession, and you become very capable and competent, then you're called a good craftsman. You plan well, you expand your company and everything. And if you are very good in dealing with your family members, relatives, friends, social circle, everybody, you are called as a good friend. And if you are able to take out some time for God and sit and calmly pray to Him and study the sacred Vedic literature and apply the teachings in your life, then you will be called as a good saint. When you combine all these four, physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual, then you become a complete human being. And most people nowadays are doing one or two of this. Somebody is focusing only on the physical. They are going for jogging, they are doing pranayama, breathing exercises, and they do profession. That's all. Many times they do profession for so many hours, 16 and 17 hours, that they have no time for the family and friends. And spiritual, they have no time at all. So they are semi-complete human beings. They are not fully complete. If you pay attention to all the four, you will be the happiest person. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada says a match formula here. You can see M for mercy, A for austerity, T for truthfulness, and C for cleanliness, and H for holy name. If you can have these five components in your life, you can actually live your life in a way that you will not cause damage to other living beings in this world, and you will not cause damage to yourself also. Like I told in the last class, we should be satisfied in ourselves and be sensitive to other creatures. Like you see here, when somebody becomes too addicted to intoxication, then the mercy is spoiled. Then they unnecessarily kill so many creatures, poor creatures of this world. Millions of cows are being slaughtered in big slaughtering machines nowadays. Yeah, that is merciless behavior, mercy. And by pride, artificial pride, oftentimes, the resultant action of austerity is spoiled, which means intoxication, smoking, drinking, drugs. That means people don't want to restrain their senses. They are very proud as if they are very great, and they are taking to drugs and smoking, drinking, and all these things, and they don't follow austerity. That's the second one. Third one, by too much lying propaganda, gambling, truthfulness is spoiled. Those people who lie, and they also loot, they do money scams and so many things. And by too much attachment to the female association, opposite sex, cleanliness is spoiled, which means a man is allowed to marry a woman and produce children and live peacefully. But if a man, besides his wife, he connects with any other type of any other woman, and that means sex before marriage, sex outside marriage, both are condemned as illicit sex. So these four are terrible sinful activities which are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Dyutam, Panam, Striya, Sona, Yatra, Adharmas Chaturvida. If any of you strongly feel you don't want to do adharma, these are the four things should be given up: meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex. And opposite of these four is mercy, austerity, truthfulness, and cleanliness. And then to do these pure activities, H is the holy name about which we will teach today, the chanting of the holy name, which is chanting meditation, mantra meditation. So by this, as he says here, the principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, may be followed by the follower of any faith. The principles of religion are not the dogmas or regulative principles of certain faith. One has to see whether the aims of religion have been achieved. All religions should follow this, irrespective of which religion you belong to. These principles are for all: mercy, austerity, truthfulness, cleanliness. Yeah. So here, balance your life. You see, George Harrison, his Beatles group, one of the most famous person in the entire world, but he's taking out time to join the devotees in chanting and singing. So we have to take out time, as it says here, the hub of the wheel of life is faith in God. And then we have also family, fitness, friends, finances. These are all like the different spokes in it. In case any of the spokes are breaking, or becoming weak, then the wheel will bend, isn't it? Therefore, we have to give time for each of this. For your own health and fitness, for your family, for your social circle friends, and your finances. There's four F's. So, but at the same time, the hub is most important, the central one. If the hub is not strong and spokes are not solid, and the wheel is not oiled, then it will be difficult. Therefore, one has to balance this. So I was telling about this. Don't become a prisoner of success, which means actually people sometimes make a lot of money, and they store it even in Swiss bank. But then they find that the millionaire wants to become billionaire, billionaire wants to become trillionaire, trillionaire wants to become zillionaire. It's an endless game which you will never stop playing all life till the last breath. And not only that, and we can never win in that game. Why? Because people, after accumulating huge amounts of money in the bank, they die suddenly one day. They don't know which day they will die. When they die, all the money remains here, just like the honeybees are driven away by the farmer with a fire torch, and the honeycomb is taken away. So, should one work hard, slog 16 hours a day, all life just to make money and stock it in the bank, not using it for becoming happy? And what are they going to do with that? They don't know. Where are they going? So, therefore, real intelligence means you utilize your life for knowing the purpose of life and meaning of life. Like you see here, Mr. Pujan Roka, he says here, from Cox Communications, he says that understanding of the self is not only physical body or not only psychological mind, but it goes deeper than that, which is the level of consciousness arising from the soul, or the Atma, the real self, which is you, the real you, the driver of your body, who is actually powering your body. Similarly, Iyengar who started the Iyengar Institute all over the world, Yoga Institute, he says here, health is a state of complete harmony of body, mind, and spirit, which is called holistic health. So, therefore, we meditate so that we can have improved mental and physical well being, improved concentration for focusing in our daily life. We can have a positive outlooks in our life and better relationships with people, and we will be less irritated and angry, because meditation calms our mind, and we can experience inner peace and happiness, all these things. So, self awareness helps us to derive happiness from within, and we will see as we proceed. And like here you see, self-awareness also helps us to see ourselves as a steward of resources, which means a custodian of resources. I am not the owner of the resources. We are custodian of resources. And also to protect our dependents who are put in our custody. So like you see here, the leader is also a part of the team. He doesn't feel that I am above the team. So this kind of stewardship we will learn by self-awareness. And also, by practicing that self-awareness, it helps us to connect with the Supreme Divinity, by which we can do impossible things possible. Like you see Arjuna, he was empowered by Lord Krishna to fight the battle and emerge victorious, even against great fellows like personalities like Bhishma, Drona, and such kinds of personalities. So now, in the next 3 slides, I am showing something very, very important, because you have heard about, in the Bhagavad Gita, detachment from work and being responsible and dutiful in work, and self-purification and such things. These 3 slides will give us a clue what we are supposed to do to completely calm our hyperactive mind. Because what is in the mind is 3 types of impurities. We call it as proprietorship, controllership, enjoyership. So I have shown many pictures which will make it very clear for you. First, everybody wants to be a proprietor. Like, they want to be proprietor of their house, proprietor of their property, and proprietor of the people under them, and they consider themselves as the person who possesses those things. Then after possessing, they want to control it. Like Hiranyakashipu, for example, he wanted to possess Prahalada as his son and control him. So we have a desire to control over the things which we possess. Then thirdly, by such control, we get a kick or desire. We get a kick of the joy of. So I was telling you, that there are three impurities in our mind which actually cause all problems for us. One is called the proprietorship, controllership, enjoyership. Like the attitude that I am the proprietor. Instead of that, we can consider like this: I am only custodian of God's property. Because when we were all born, we saw the sun, we saw the moon, we saw the rains, we saw the grains. None of it is created by God. We don't own it. God is the owner of everything. So that's the first thing. I am not proprietor. I am only custodian of God's property. That's the first way we can purify ourselves. Second one, I am the boss and I can do wonders by my brain. People think like that. Instead of that, we have to transform it in this way. I am an instrument of God to serve those in my care. I am only instrument of God. Why? Because He has given me the eyes and the ears and the senses and everything. He has given me the brain. Like in Delhi, Apollo Hospital, I saw one doctor had put a placard on his table. He said, "We treat, God heals." Like that, he had put. Such a beautiful statement, which is fact actually. We sow the seed, God gives the rains. We give the exams, and the teachers give us the marks. We give the interview, and the panel chooses us for the job. It's always two way, it's not one way. So, similarly, we are only instrument in God's hands to serve those in our care. Thirdly, so we give up the controllership mentality, second one. Third one is everyone and everything here is for my enjoyment. Everyone should serve me and please me and be at my beck and call. Instead of this kind of idea, one can think, I am a servant leader. That's the right attitude. Now you see the pictures, it will become more clear for you. Like here you see, I am the only, like Hiranyakashipu is thinking in the red box, you see. I am proprietor of everything and everyone, he says. Like see the small kid, he want to eat the whole cake. He is not capable of digesting the whole cake, but he considers I am this. I possess this whole cake for myself. So, on the other hand, she used it in the yellow box. I am only a custodian of Supreme Lord's property. Pandavas accepted the rule when Krishna told them, and Pandavas gave up the rule and went to forest and became vanaprasthas when Lord Krishna left his abode. So they were very honest, well-wishing kings of the whole world. So they never had a proprietorship mentality. Secondly, controllership mentality. This I had shown you before. You can see now. You will understand this point. Here the mother considers the son. I am the proprietor. I possess him. He is my property. And the wife is saying, no, no, no. I am married to him just recently. He is my property. So when we have this possessive mentality or controllership mentality, we want to control, and the poor man, he is torn between the two. Similarly, the controllership mentality of wanting to possess a lot of money and lavishly spend it, or control the whole globe. And you have seen many people expanding their kingdom, Alexander or other people also, Hitler, domination over other living beings. That's actually called controllership mentality. Everybody wants this. I am the boss. I want to be in control of everyone and everything. This is a wrong mentality. On the other hand, see this fellow. I am a servant leader to empower my team members to become leaders. Let me train them, educate them, engage them, and empower them. I am an instrument of God to serve those in my care. I am not the ultimate controller. Such people are actually grateful to their teachers also. And they also know that God can actually work through many people, not only me. So they have a humble attitude. And enjoyership mentality. See this fellow, what he's thinking? Red box. Everyone and everything is here to serve me, please me, and work for me, for my enjoyment. So he says, shape up or ship out. So he's thinking he's the boss and everything is revolving around him. This kind of arrogant mentality actually will not please anybody. See these two children? This little girl is taking all the toys for herself. I am the enjoyer of it all. All toys. You get lost. Similarly, Ravana goes to any part of the universe and picks up any woman, whomever he likes. He thinks all women in this world are meant for his enjoyment only, as you see in the picture here. You see? He's carrying Sita. So, on the other hand, if a leader gives up the enjoyership mentality, he can actually grow his people in his custody. See what Nelson Mandela says. It's better to lead from behind and put others in front, especially when you celebrate victory, when nice things occur. You take the front line when there is danger. Then people will appreciate your leadership. Which means when you get success, Bouquets, you distribute the bouquets to everybody. You have to stick your neck out of the window looking for all the team members. Please come here, all of you take the bouquets. You give it out to everybody. And when people are throwing rotten tomatoes, cursing us for some blunder committed by our team, then we should stand in the front, opening our chest, willing to accept the blame because we are leading the team. That's a real leader, actually. Like you see those three pictures I've shown in the extreme right. Leader is leading from the front and taking his people. They are all walking ahead, going ahead. You see. Similarly, a leader is supporting by keeping the hand for them to cross over, hurdles. Similarly, he's giving a helping hand to support those who are struggling. So each of these pictures is very amazingly representing the real mood of a leader. He's not an enjoyer. You may be knowing the story of George Washington in America. He saw that some 8 people are trying to lift a big log of wood and they were not able to. They had put a chain and pulling it, they were not able to. So the leader was telling, yes, come on, do it. But the leader was not helping. So George Washington, he had a cap, so the leader didn't notice. So George Washington asked him, can I help? He said, okay, come on. So he went and gave a little help. Immediately the log of wood was lifted. And then that leader of the team came to know that the person who helped lift is George Washington. He was shocked. He said, sir, I never knew it is you. He said, what would be, what would happen if you offered a little help to your team members instead of expecting everything from them and not cooperating with them? So therefore, one has to give up that enjoyership mentality. See, Ravana and Hanuman are diametrically opposites. Hanuman actually found Sita and then brought Rama to connect him with Sita. On the other hand, Ravana was looting Sita. Similarly, people want to loot God's energies in this world and enjoy themselves selfishly, without even reference to God or without even saying a thank you to Him. God gives and forgives. We get and forget, you see. Therefore, we should know what is Vihita Karma, Kamya Karma, Nishiddha Karma. See, Vihita Karma means God-given instructions in the scriptures, which is what we should be doing, ideally. And Kamya Karma means we desire certain things in this world, which we want to do, which we are not told to do, but which is not totally prohibited, which is allowed to do. Like for example, parents are telling a boy, you play in the car, we have a big Innova car, play with inside the car. But child says, see, we are standing near the beach, why don't I go to the ocean beach and play? Then the mother may allow with the condition that you should not go to the water. But so playing inside the car is Vihita Karma. Playing in the ocean beach by the child is Kamya Karma, his desire. And entering into the ocean is Nishiddha Karma. Correct? So what was Ravana doing? He was doing Nishiddha Karma, prohibited activity. He was doing, taking any man's wife and going. And what was Hanuman doing? He was doing Vihita Karma. And there are also Kamya Karmas. For example, a child may want to eat cocoa chocolate, but the mother may not give. She may give fruits to the child. But if the child is very adamant, okay, once in a week or once in 2 weeks she may give. Okay, a little bit you can take. Kamya Karma. So therefore, we have to know how to act in this world. We should not act in wrong, erratic ways by which we entangle ourselves. We suffer and we make others suffer. See, Ravana also suffered because he was destroyed. Sita also suffered because he made her cry and took her. So in this way, people act by being enjoyer. So these are the 3 impurities in our heart: proprietor, controller, enjoyer. And proprietor means greed. And controller means anger. And enjoyer means lust. So you can remember these 3 words, L-A-G, lust, anger, greed. These are called 3 gateways to hell. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita. Trividam narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanah kama krodhastatat lobas tasmat etat trayam tyajet. One should give up these 3 things, Arjuna: lust, anger, and greed. Lust causes enjoyership mentality. Anger causes controllership mentality. And greed makes us feel I am proprietor. So these are the 3 impurities in our mind. If these are cleaned, we will be the most happiest and cheerful people in the world. But I will be explaining more in another session on this. But here today, now here we are introducing this term Nishkama Karma Yoga. You see, Janaka Maharaj was a very great Nishkama Karma Yogi. He was the father of Sita. And his name is quoted in Bhagavad Gita. Karmanai Vaihasam Siddhim Astito Janakadayah. Krishna says, Janaka and many other kings practiced this Nishkama Karma Yoga, which means they actually practiced desireless action, we call it. Which means they never thought, I am proprietor. God is proprietor, I am only custodian. They always thought, I am not the controller. God is supreme controller. I am actually taking care of people in my custody under His order. And I am not enjoyer, He is supreme enjoyer. And I am working under Him for His pleasure. So this is the idea. Nishkama Karma Yoga actually means God, Krishna, God is supreme enjoyer, the ultimate controller, best friend. With that notion they lived. See here, even Iyengarji says this. When you inhale, you are taking the strength from God. And when you exhale, it represents the service you give to the world. Beautiful, no? Isn't it? So this is a mood in which we should live our life and breathe our every breath. Yeah. So, and in the Ashtanga Yoga, by which one goes for meditation, many of you may be eager to know what is this meditation, how do we do that? So there is Ashtanga Yoga process that was taught by Narada Muni to Dhruva Maharaj. And initially we practiced Nishkama Karma Yoga, and gradually, now if you see the Ashtanga Yoga steps, here in Nishkama Karma Yoga stage, we cultivate detachment and also practice Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Pranayama. I will show you that. For example, first there are do's and don'ts, which I will show you in the later slides. Then there are bodily exercises called asanas. The asanas actually control our senses. And pranayama, breathing exercises, calms our mind. And pratyahara, we can withdraw the senses from running into the outside world and get caught up and get troubled. Instead, we can withdraw and become very calm. And dharana means fixing the mind on Lord Vishnu's form. This is called, this is what Iyengarji personally told me when I met him in Pune, Ganesh Kind, where he was living. So once when I had gone with my spiritual master to meet him, he was telling that we have 10 senses, 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, which means eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin. Jnanendriyas. Karmendriyas are hands, legs, genitals, rectum, and speech. So this 5 plus 5, 10. So this 10 and mind is the 11th one. So he said the mind can be called as a Ekadasha Indriya, which means 11th Indriya. He said, if the mind flows into the outside world like this, along with the senses, if it is flows, which is foolishness of the mind, he said. Mind should not be allowed to flow outward. Rather, we should withdraw the mind and connect it to the intelligence. And the intelligence should be connected to the super soul. Like we are soul and super soul is God, who is seated in our heart. He said, I am going to write a book called as Core Yoga. In that book, I will mention this from Sripad Ramanujacharya. He said, this is the ultimate goal of yoga. Yoga is not just for doing exercises and not for doing pranayama and have a healthy body and eat nicely and so you can enjoy sense gratification and have more comfortable material life. That's not the goal of yoga. The very meaning of the word yoga means link with God. We have linked consciousness. That means, yuj means to connect. Connect with what? Not connect with eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Connect with God. That is yoga. So he said, he actually finished the book. He told me at one time, and then within 3 years he completed the book. The subsequent year he passed away after that. He was 95 years old. I was fortunate to have that meeting. So he was telling that mind should withdraw from the outside world and connect with pure intelligence and meditate on the super soul. And that is dharana. And then dhyana, intensified meditation on super soul. And samadhi is complete absorption. You feel great happiness and peace. So these are all 8 limbs from the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So the do's and don'ts are given. Ahimsa, first he says, don't unnecessarily disturb the other living beings in the nature. Like a tiger can jump on a deer and eat. That is natural for the tiger. But we cannot jump on a deer and eat. Or we cannot jump on a chicken or a cow and eat it. That's not natural for us. Therefore, people have to cook. Whereas if you see, we can jump on a carrot and eat. We can jump on a cucumber and eat. That's natural for us. So we should not unnecessarily cause violence to our own co-brothers. We are all God's children. Second one is satya, truthfulness. If you speak lies, our mind will always be in tension. Which lie I told whom? So that you will have to behave accordingly. And asteya means don't steal the credit that is meant for others. That is asteya. If you steal credit meant for others, we will always be disturbed. And brahmacharya means celibacy. No, sir. Brahmacharya actually celibacy means with body, mind, words, one should practice celibate life. And after marriage also, if somebody engages in sex life or begetting children and raising them, and they also can maintain that purity. Because otherwise one should not unnecessarily let the sex energy flow outward uselessly. unnecessarily. So one can transform it into ojas liquid, spiritual liquid, and send it upward towards the Brahmarandra, and then one can become an enlightened one. One can get Viveka Buddhi, Vichara Shakti, Dharana Shakti, and all those things. Sharp intelligence one gets to make decisions in life and everything. And then aparigraha means non-possessiveness. That means one should actually accumulate only as much as is necessary for a happy and healthy life. One should not become greedy, chasing, going from millionaire to billionaire, billionaire to trillionaire, zillionaire, as I told you. One should accumulate something, and then one shouldn't be greedy. The next one, niyamas, personal disciplines like shaucha, keep clean, keep the body clean, mind clean. Santosha means contentment. Tapas is austerity. So satisfaction. So these are all, and then swadhyaya is study, and Ishwar Pranidhan is cultivating a mood of self-surrender to God. God is master, I am his servant. So these are all do's and don'ts given. Then there's pranayama is given for calming the mind. And then eventually, in this way, it goes up to the meditation on the Supreme Vishnu. Now here, as I told you, what Narada told you, this balance religion and profit, bhakti yoga and money. And in order for us to do that, and we have to avoid the kama, which is actually smoking, drinking, illicit, and all these things we should give up. So Krishna says this famous verse in Bhagavad Gita. I will recite it for you. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. He gives a great secret. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system, he says. So this is what I have elaborated in the further slides for you. Whatever Lord Krishna says, I have elaborated on that so that you will immensely benefit by, he says that dukkha means you will become free from all miseries by following this shloka. That means you should know how to do eating, proper sleeping, proper recreation, and proper work. Let us see how. So here is smooth solution through sattvic lifestyle. I will explain what it is. Ask yourself a question, are you a reactor or overreactor? Here is a traffic jam. How do you respond to that? You get a last minute assignment. Look at this fellow, how he feels when he gets a last minute assignment. This fellow has misplaced something somewhere and fed up. And that boss is wild on the subordinate who is incompetent. So in this type of situation, we may sometimes react or overreact also. So 3 gunas Lord Krishna explains to know our own personality type. You can check your personality type. See the person in goodness, he is appreciative, encouraging, friendly, cheerful. Look at the person in passion. He is yelling at the ears of the subordinate. Who is unhappy? The boss is unhappy or subordinate is unhappy? If you see, both are unhappy. Because boss is unhappy that the work is not happening. Subordinate is also fed up. Instead of yelling at him like this, he can get him trained, or he can change his department. And the person in ignorance is always depressed and morose that the chart is going down. He is facing failure in the business, is panicky, he is crying, insecure and all. So this table gives you the qualities of the 3 people. If you see the Sanskrit terms we use are tamas, sattva, rajas. Ignorance, goodness and passions. Actually goodness is balanced one. It is not the extreme. Both ignorance and passion are extremes. If you see. Like temper, what type of temper one should have? Warm temper we should have. But these fellows have cold temper and those fellows have hot temper, you see. And the attitude is, this fellow is insecure and fearful. And that fellow is always risk-taking, too much risk-taking and intention. Whereas the goodness people are wise. Yeah. Similarly, the motive, the person in passion is greedy, person in ignorance is indifferent and lazy. Whereas person in goodness has a service attitude always. Pace also, goodness person is very balanced. Whereas person in passion is too fast always. He will always be fast, morning to night. And the people in tamoguna are slow. So you can get an idea. You can see these 3 and find out which personality makeup matches you. You can keep it secret. You don't have to tell anyone. But by seeing this. See, this fellow is just waving the hands like this. And see the creature, that animal, how it is breathing heavily. Actually, this fellow is small, the creature is very big, but still he's taking too much tension, isn't it? This is how we all take stress in our lives. Actually, stress is not something that is produced from outside of you causing you some pressure or something. Actually, stress is the inner response mechanism that we possess towards the outer pressures. Uh, for example, in a same given situation, somebody can take it with a cool head. Another person can get really wild, like traffic jam, for example. Somebody can sit in the car and relax and hear some nice devotional music, or hear some lectures, or take the diary and do some planning. Very with a cool head, one can do that. Or one can get out of the car and throw tantrums in the car, over the everybody in the street and walk half a kilometer to see how long the traffic jam is going, isn't it? So it's ultimately the response mechanism. So we all have experience of stress being produced from our inside as a response to the outer situation. Hmm. Unrealistic targets and unhealthy competition, urgency addiction, all these different things, interpersonal conflicts. So here is the secret we are going to reveal to you how the stress is produced. When there is an external stimuli, uh, immediately, see, sight, sound, sight, something. So you hear a loud noise, tada, like that you hear the sound. Immediately, mind becomes very disturbed. Mind consults the intelligence. And the intelligence says, oh, that is only bursting of a tire scooter. Then there is no more stress. Stress goes away. You laugh at it, that's all. But if you don't know, then stress is generated. Maybe it's a bomb blast. Maybe they'll put bomb here. One fears like that. And then once you take corrective action, then you have no stress. But as long as you are in a zone of uncertainty, then there is stress. Like for example, somebody is fearing that somebody's job may be laid off. So you don't know when it will be laid off. So it's an uncertain situation, isn't it? Similarly, marriage. Sometimes within marriage, husband-wife stress. It appears that it's going to be leading to separation. So both live in very great stress. In this way, in finances also, when financial crunch comes, there's a lot of stress. When there are uncertainties, there is stress. Something unknown, that's what causes stress, you see. Because when the answer is not found, it leads to stress. So therefore, what exactly happens in stress is adrenaline is secreted. Here there is an endocrine orchestra, we call it here, like below the medulla oblongata, isn't it? So here the adrenaline, one hormone is produced, and the neck becomes stiff. And therefore, we get back pain, like because of adrenaline hormone being secreted when we feel stress. And it's not a favorable hormone. It's very unfavorable hormone. It actually constricts the blood vessels, and it causes increasing of blood pressure and so many things, and diseases in the body when we become stressed. So how do you avoid the stress? See, these are the two things that happen in stress: fight and flight. This fellow is aggressive, that fellow is passive. So they feel this. So therefore, in the curve, you see your performance goes up. In the E is exhaustion, I is ill health, and then the fellow breaks down. Internet performance is not achieved. So therefore, you can keep a personal record. Whichever day you felt stress, note down what was the situation, who is the person who caused it. That person caused it, or you imagined it. It was an imagined threat or real threat. What were your emotions, and stress levels were medium or high, and how will you avoid it next time? Like for example, you are making a very nice PPT in the computer and power crashed and everything was lost. You didn't save it. So next time you'll be careful. So therefore, we should hope for the best and be prepared for the worst. You make a plan. So now I am giving very simple solutions, like the same verse which I showed you there. And these three things we should modify to have a healthy and happy life: diet, exercise, and relaxation, as we showed before, for having a very healthy physical quotient. Actually, the food that we eat matters a lot. Ahara shuddhau satpashuddhau dhruva smriti lambe grantinam vipramokshaha. This verse says, whatever food you eat, that actually purifies. If it is a pure food, it purifies your mind. If it is cooked with business mentality, it also makes you very greedy. Greedy minds that you get by the type of food that you eat. So therefore, the ahara is very, very important. Even in Upanishads, it is said the food which you put in the mouth converts itself into three forms. One form becomes stool and urine. It is disposed outside. And the other becomes blood, circulated all over the body to give you energy. And the third part goes to your consciousness. That actually, if the food is pure, it makes your consciousness pure. So how do you make the food pure, whatever we cook? You just have to keep in front of the Lord and just pray and say, oh Lord, you gave the clouds, you gave the rains, you gave the grains, you gave the fruits, vegetables, cereals, spices, and medicinal herbs. Everything you are giving, we are grateful to you. That's all you have to do. And from your heart, you express your thanks to Him, because scientists are creating so many machines, but they can't create these grains, fruits, cereals, spices, and everything. How tasty things, 6 type of juices we are all enjoying. So just thank God and take it, and that's called prasadam. We call it prasadam, means mercy, literally. So I have written 3 things: Mitha book, Ritu book, Hita book. Mitha book means eat moderately, don't overeat. Ritu book means according to seasons, there are certain foods you have to eat. I will show you the table. And Hita book means eat that which will give good health to the body. Don't just eat for taste. Certain things are tasty but very harmful. Hit, do for the hit. Uh, Actually, it's very tiny letters, you may not understand, but what is shown here is 2 things are shown here. One is Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Prakriti. Kapha, Prakriti people, they, uh, they, uh, they may be in goodness, and Pitta Prakriti corresponds to passion, and Vata Prakriti corresponds to ignorance. I told you Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So you can see the symptoms and find out which type of personality you are. You may be a combination also in that. And then I have also shown like Vata pacifying food chart. So for all these things, you just go to Google and put Ritu Charya. You put RITU. ROA. You put everything, you will get. It's all available now. The Ayurvedic doctors have put this all from Atharva Veda, which part of which is Ayurveda. So these things will give you a clue on what things you should cook in certain seasons. Ritu means season. Here it is given here in rainy season, in summer season, winter season, what you should cook at home. Everything is given here. And this is the Ritu. Ritu book means according to the season you should eat certain things, and there are other things which are very dangerous in that season. One should not eat them. Yeah. Similarly, what diet should we eat? See here in sattvic diets are sweet, juicy, and they're palatable, very nice, and they increase duration of life. It purifies our existence. It gives us strength, health, and everything. But if we eat passionate foods, they are too bitter, too sour, salty, pungent, and everything. They cause pain, distress, and actually, when you eat hot foods, it produces burning sensation in the mouth. Again, when one is clearing the belly, again it produces burning sensation. So it actually agitates the mind also. And tamaguni foods are stale, putrid foods, decomposed foods. One shouldn't eat them. Actually, very unclean foods. Like here, you see the examples are given here: milk, sugar, rice, wheat, fruits, vegetables, split peas, dal, whole wheat. Everything is very good for you. Very healthy. Passionate food should be avoided. Red pepper, coffee, tea. These are all very burning the belly. And ignorance in foods like meat, liquor, egg, animal fat, etc. All these things are abominable, violent also. Actually, when a man kills an animal, the animal actually first does flight, tries to escape, and afterwards it fights back, tries to attack back. So flight means mode of ignorance, tamas, and fight means rajas. So the rajoguna, tamaguna will increase in us because the adrenaline secretes in the animal's body in a very big, profuse quantity at the time of killing them. So we don't want to increase rajas and tamas, we want to increase sattva, goodness. So, and also, even the sattvic ahar, when we eat, we should not eat junk foods and foods that involve violence to other creatures. They may titillate our tongue, but they harm the belly and they cause indigestion, fatigue, and all that. And also, we should not eat too much, and we should not eat at different times. Proper time, same time we should eat every day, preferably. Otherwise, we'll get ulcers in the mouth. And we should avoid eating junk and violent foods. One should avoid. And one should also not eat too much opulent foods like fried foods, oily foods, and all that. So if you control these things, then our eating is very healthy, and mind will be very calm, cool, collected. So, yeah. Another interesting thing, see here, in this picture you see the tongue, belly, and genitals are in one line. So if you control the eating habit, then our belly, it will be easy for us to properly to digest and eat properly, and then the genitals will be under control. But if one eats passionate foods, then one's genitals will clamor for sex life. So one will become very agitated in mind, and one cannot do meditation properly. So therefore, there has to be a balance in the type of food we eat. Now coming to stress, there are conventional solutions and Vedic alternatives, let us see. There are many things like deep breathing means diaphragmatic breathing. For example, you lie down, like on the ground facing the sky, and you breathe very slowly. The stomach should, sag like this and come back, come out like this. Slow breathing, deep breathing. So, and also oil massages are done. You know that in Ayurvedic spa and all that. And devotional music is also very soothing to calm our mind. Mm. And stretching exercises, especially yogasanas, are very good. Mm. And relaxation. And also, actually, in the daytime, we can take a power nap for 10 minutes or 20 minutes max. It should be really power nap. When we get up, we should be really powerful. Not that, actually, we don't need any sleep. In case night it got late, daytime we catch up for 10, 20 minutes in case we need, in case we didn't sleep a good amount in the night. But otherwise, it should actually produce energy. Eating also should produce energy. Energy means capacity to do work, isn't it? And we should have enough sleep. We will tell about the sleep. And then pranayam is called PMR, and the yoga nidra is called PMR, progressive muscle relaxation technique. You can learn from a yoga teacher. Don't do it yourself without learning. And also here I have given 10 very, very easy tips. Eat sensibly and, plan all aspects of life. Later on you will get the PPT. You can go through this 10 steps. Yeah. They are very easy to apply. Simple steps. Yeah, if you apply these 10 steps, you will be a lot more happier, you will see. And in sleeping also, you see, Ayurvedic doctors say that 9 to 12 is equivalent to 6 hours. 12 to 3 in the morning is equivalent to 3 hours. And beyond 3 o'clock, the sleep is not effective. But unfortunately, nowadays people sleep after 12, many of them. Yeah, of course, nobody can sleep at 9. But at least we should try to sleep by 9, 9:30, 10 latest. 10 to 2 is very important. I have a video clip with me, which I'm going to give to Madan Sundar Prabhu, which you all can watch. Why the top-notch CEOs of the international organizations are rising before 4 a.m. So you can hear that. So the 10 to 2, he says, is the most important time for sleep. You should not be awake because a lot of chemical changes happen inside the body, in the belly. So early to bed and early to rise. So here is a Brahma Muhurta. What are the advantages of rising in the early morning, like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning? If you see here, it says here, Brahme Muhurte Yanidra Sa Punya Kshayakarini. If one does not get up in the morning time during Brahma Muhurta, he's actually wasting his life, he says. He loses his punya. And then he says, if one gets up early in the morning, his beauty, his wealth, his good health, long life, they are all increased. Vaishajyasara, all are from the Vedic literatures. And he says that in the morning the prana and apana vayu are very active, he says in the morning. So it's very good for us. And also he says here that early morning hours is like a child residing in the garbhavas of a child. At that time, during that stage, sometimes there are some genetic flaws, physical or mental flaws are there sometimes. But then they all can be repaired if one rises early in the morning and does meditation. So incurable diseases can be cured, he says. Morning, yeah. And Vishuddha Chakra of the sadhaka is awakened in the morning. During that morning time, he says that our Brahmarandra, from that one drop of Amritam, is produced. For those who are awake, those who are calm, and those who are meditating, they actually get that benefit of that Amrita Tattva, which permeates the entire body and gives you physical energy, mental stability, and spiritual vigor, everything. Yeah. Therefore, and also many divine personalities travel in the Akasha Marg in the morning. One can receive the blessings of spiritual personalities. So, and also if we bathe in the morning and we meditate on the Lord in the heart, Paramatma, then it's called Brahma Snanam. And if you remember the holy rivers like Ganga and all, it's Deva Snanam. So morning bath is very, very wonderful. Like that, many things are given here. Mind and intelligence are. So one interesting thing I'll tell you: the traffic is practically, road traffic is free, isn't it? You can go in your car very fast. Similarly, all people are sleeping in the morning, so their brains are not active. The WhatsApps are not active. Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook are not active. So the waves of thought process coming from various living beings is practically stopped in the early morning hours. So therefore, when you meditate, it will be very easy for you to meditate in the early morning hours. Yeah. Even Ayurvedic lifestyle can be practiced only with Brahma Muhurta. Yeah. So now chanting. Actually, why we do chanting? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Jnanam Japa Yogyasmi. This is the easiest method of chanting. Sometimes people sit down calmly and they simply go to sleep. They don't know what to do, how to meditate. Whereas chanting will help us to meditate. Like you see here, this is the mantra. Man means the mind. Tra means which delivers the mind. See, this is a mantra. You just utter these words and hear them. That's all. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. This is a meditation. It's very easy. At chant mantra, this is given in Kalisandana Upanishad. See here, Rishikesh Mafatlalji, he has been chanting. Even till date he chants every day. So he says it helps me to face all ups and downs and gives me great confidence. This is a Dutch model actress. She also chants Hare Krishna. It changed her vision of things, she says. So now when we talk about relaxation from the stress, some people sit in front of the TV and that's not relaxation. If you watch a movie like this, you get more stressed. Instead of, similarly, all the unhealthy habits should be given up. We have one separate full session on habits. There I will cover more. But here I have just shown you the same things which I told you before. The Dyutam Panam Sriyasuna Yatra Adharmaschaturvida. And also we can relax actually by studying mind elevating literature like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedic literature. If somebody is from Christianity, you read Bible. Somebody is from Islam, you read Quran. The whole idea is read something very constructive which will develop you. Because the books that you read, the movies you watch, the music you hear, the friends you keep, this is all deciding the scripts in your mind, whether you will be positive or negative. Yeah. So thank you very much. Now I will take questions now. Madan Sundar Prabhu. So you can show this cover. Show this. Yeah. Yes. Madan Prabhu, I can't hear you. Madan Sundar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Now I can hear. Yeah.
Yes. So Prabhuji will start with the questions now. The first question is from Rajan Kumar. Prabhuji told we have to balance family, friends, health, and all. But many situation comes when we have to prioritize it. How one should do it?
Yeah. Actually, for this, we need to learn about time management. See, many of you may be knowing time management. There is quadrant 1 is called urgent important. So that quadrant is called as do. Quadrant 2 is called not urgent but important, and that is called decide. And the third quadrant is not important but urgent. That is, and the fourth quadrant is not important, not urgent. So not important, not urgent. That quadrant you delete it, and the third quadrant you delegate it. So I will say the quadrant do, decide, delegate, delete. So think about these 4 things in your life. If you can delete unwanted, like for example, nowadays people are going on increasing the WhatsApp numbers in their smartphones, but the amount of time they have is only 24 hours. Is it not true? Imagine I have 300, 400, 500 people's numbers with you, and they all keep on sending messages. Are we not getting overload of messages from them? So it would be worthwhile sometimes to again go through those numbers and reconsider which numbers I want to retain, which ones I want to block, which ones I want to give up, and things like that, so that we have some fixed number of people whom we will be able to handle. It's about phone calls. In the same manner, many times there are time wasters which come in varieties of ways. So we have to be very careful. Am I giving attention to the quality things in life which are very important for me? Therefore, we have to prioritize in our lives. As I told you, we have three responsibilities: family and profession and self-awareness. self-development. You have three things. So you spend time for your family. So these are the three priorities for you. Are you doing your profession well? Are you caring for the family members well? Uh, then are you taking your time to become more self-aware and self-develop, as we have been talking about in the last two sessions? This is actually your duty to God. This is the third one. So you have family, God, and profession. But other than this, we are spending a lot of time for many other things. For example, if I overeat, then I will also oversleep. Or sometimes, as I told you, a millionaire tries to become, billionaire, trillionaire, and then zillionaire. So chase after the money also takes away our time, and we don't have time for family members and profession. So in the same manner, we do useless talk with people, gossiping, politicking, bad mouthing about people. That takes a lot of our time also. Yeah. And we also sometimes, in the name of entertainment, there are many things which actually harm us. Like I told you, certain movies actually can be damaging to us. In the same manner, we should see what are the things in which I am wasting time. Sometimes become angry with somebody too much, due to which, to repair that guilt we feel, we spend a lot of hours with them. So in this way, our most of our time is wasted because of lack of our control of mind and senses. You will see that. So we should try to also learn this quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. Quadrant 1 and 2 are very important. 3 and 4, 3 should be delegated away and 4 should be deleted. So Madan Sundar Prabhu will tell you more about the time management. But time management will also help you to learn to prioritize. So it is possible to
Thank you,
balance.
Prabhuji.
We have to balance. Next.
Rohit Chaudhary, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I always try to perform my spirituality sincerely. Sometimes I become little bit sincere, but after some time I again become insincere. How to maintain consistency?
You need association. Birds of the same feather flock together, we say, no? Huh? Drunkards go with other drunkards to drink, isn't it? And the football players go with other football players to play. And everybody in this world is busy with something. They rarely ask question about the meaning and purpose of life. But you are a special soul. You have inquired about life and you have come to learn also what it is. Besides fulfilling your duties to home and office, you are taking out some time to learn about self-awareness and self-development, self-management and all that. So therefore, you need to associate with people who are doing it. Depending on which place you are put up in, you should identify such a good association. If you send a mail to us, you are giving them some email address where they can write to you, Mansundar Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. They
Yeah.
are also part of the WhatsApp group
Yeah,
or
they
the
can
Telegram
send.
group.
Yeah,
So
if you say that
yeah.
you need a mentor for guiding you, they will guide you further. And also, you should regularly get an opportunity to associate, at least once in a week. At least you go for a program like this once in a week. Then in that sangha association, it's very easy for you to practice. The consistency will come. Thank you. Next.
So Rohit Prabhu, I'll recommend if you can write to our admin, you probably would be part of some WhatsApp group, and then we can follow up with the suggestions that Radheshyam Prabhu gave right now. So thank you for question. Next question is from Pushpa Sampath. Is having tea or coffee called as intoxication?
Actually, coffee contains caffeine and tea contains nicotine, both of which are drugs. Cocoa also is a drug. Now, what happens with the drug? The drug actually intoxicates us. There are people who drink too much strong filter coffee and they have fainted unconscious also because of the drug. So, those who are in the path of meditation and developing concentration, self-awareness, they are in a process of coming out of illusion and coming out of foolishness. Most of the world is absorbed in ignorance and passion. So we want to come to sattva, and that's where the real happiness is in this world. So therefore, in order to come to sattva, we avoid all agents which are harmful for the body. Like for example, if you take fruit juices, it is very nourishing for the body. But if you take cold drinks, for example, the cold drinks contain many items which are harmful for the body. Many people don't know. And in the same manner, if you drink milk, if you drink nourishing beverages like that, it is very good for the body. Even in milk also, cow's milk and buffalo's milk, there is a difference. If you drink buffalo's milk, you will become very fat. If you drink cow's milk, you will become very alert. So you will see that. So the coffee contains caffeine, as I told you. So those items which contain some harmful elements for the body, why should we put them in the body and hurt our body? Therefore, we don't take. But it is not as serious as liquor or something. Liquor is far more dangerous. In case you are feeling that you need to have coffee and tea, it is not as dangerous as liquor, I can say. But coffee, tea, if taken in excess proportions, gradually it makes us tamasic. It makes us a little dull. Why should we be dull? Let's be alert and fresh always. Yeah, next.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Mr. Escape. Okay. Prabhuji, difference between love, attraction, possessiveness, caring, self-respect, and priority. It's a whole list. So, love, attraction, possessiveness, caring, self-respect, etc.
Actually, if you love God, all these other good qualities will come in you. It is a love God, love all. I'll tell you a simple example. Say if Mr. Escape has a sister, for example. Say when your sister gets married, you naturally start becoming affectionate to her husband. Naturally you become affectionate to her in-laws also. Mother-in-law, father-in-law and all. Why? You don't even know who they are. Now you feel affection suddenly. Why? Because they are all connected to your sister whom you love. In the same manner, when we do this meditation, chanting Hare Krishna, we develop love for God. Then from that love, if you love God, then you can love all, because all are children of God in this world. Vasudha eva kutumbakam. On the surface of the earth, all living beings, you see 8.4 million species of life. They are all children of one Supreme Father. Aham bija pradaha pita, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 14th chapter. So, because they are all children of God, when you love Him, naturally you love all. Naturally you will not dominate them. You will not try to control them. You will not torture them. You will have respect for them. And you will not be possessive of them. You will know that they are not mine, they are God's. You will be caring for them and you will respect them. All good things will come. All right? Next.
Tarun Shukla Prabhu has. Prabhu is asking, I used to do exercise in morning. Shall I first take bath, yoga, and then do exercise?
Yeah, actually, if you can take your bath. Actually, first, what are the sequence of steps? As soon as you get up in the morning, you do little jogging, and then you go to the washroom. Then the belly should be cleared, and after that one should brush the teeth, and then one takes a shower. Then when you come back to your room, and then actually you can put a yoga mat and you can do yogasanas with an empty stomach. That will be best if you can. That will be the best. And when your stomach is preferably, the early morning, if it is empty, it is good. Sometimes even if stomach is not fully empty, still if you do yogasanas, then it will make the motion and everything proper over a period of time. And before eating, one should finish the yoga. Immediately after eating, one should not do. Yeah, thank you.
So another question by Gauri. Why don't we focus on Ashtanga Yoga and focus on chanting more? Or is chanting a part of Ashtanga Yoga?
Good question. Krishna presents Ashtanga Yoga in Bhagavad Gita. After hearing that, Arjuna was telling, oh, this is a very difficult process. It was meant for Satya Yuga. When Dhruva Maharaj performed the Ashtanga Yoga, standing on one leg, he performed very severe penance. So Yama, Niyama, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Asana, and all those steps which I showed you, actually for that you have to go to a holy place. Shichau Deshe Pratishtapya Stiram Asanam Atmana. Krishna says, you should go to a holy place. You leave everything and you go to a holy place and sit in meditation. You should have a seat which is neither higher nor very low, and you should meditate on the tip of the nose. And then and you also chant a mantra. He chanted Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That was a mantra Narada gave him in Satya Yuga. And for Kali Yuga, we chant Hare Krishna. So what we do, instead of going to forest or any holy place, we sit in our own temple in an erect posture. We sit in Padmasana or Sukhasana, we say, and we first take a deep breath to calm the mind, and we withdraw the mind from everything. We do that also, we do every day. And then we start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You can chant 108 times. It will take you just 10 minutes only. You try it. And 1 week you do it. If you like it, you can continue. If you say, no, you didn't benefit from it, you can leave it. You can give a try. Yeah. So Arjuna said Ashtanga Yoga,
Thank
all
you.
the procedures are very complicated. So therefore, like Krishna told him, in Bhakti Yoga, the beauty is anybody can do. A little girl, child can do, a boy can do, boys, girls can do, ladies and gentlemen can do, old people can do. And Bhakti Yoga doesn't demand that you have to go here, go there. Even at home, sitting in one place, just chant the holy name. Anywhere it can be chanted. Any time of the day you can chant. And you can also marry and beget children and do your worldly duties. Along with that, you can do. Whereas for Ashtanga Yoga, there are a lot of rules you will read in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. If you read, you will know. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Next question is from Manali Shah. Prabhuji mentioned about reactor and overreactor. So how one should stop or act when people overreact?
Okay. When someone else is overreacting, is it someone else overreacting or ourselves overreacting? What is written there in the question?
She is saying that you had mentioned about reactor and overreactor.
Yeah.
How one should stop or act. So it's about when people are overreacting.
Someone
When
else
others
is
are
overreacting.
overreacting.
Okay,
How
okay.
should we react?
Okay, I will tell you one thing. Say, for example, in a family, one family member suddenly starts, you say something, and they suddenly start shouting or something like that. Immediately, you can become calm, and you can say, okay, I'm sorry, I think I disturbed you now. Let us talk about it tomorrow. Nothing urgent now. Like, for example, you tell one of the family members that, can this be done also? Can you go to market and get it? And the person starts, don't you see, I am so busy today and the company have this project to be done and blah, blah, blah. Starts, then you say, okay. You relax now. Sorry, I didn't know that you are so overloaded. We will talk tomorrow. So when two hands come, the sound comes. But if one hand is coming, other hand goes away, then there is no sound. That is one of the things we can do, avoid. Similarly, even in office, some colleague is not in a good mood. One day, we go to talk something and that person is not in a good mood. We can say that, I think we can talk about this matter another day, because sometimes me and another person starts talking, it's not going in a good direction because that person's mood is not, mood out, we say, no? Mood is not good. Then my end goal will not be achieved by meeting him. Then what I should do? You can say that it's not that urgent, I will think over it and we will meet after a week. Then after a week, he's in a very pleasant mood, I can meet. And in the same manner, if somebody is going out of control, we see that they are becoming overreactive, we should leave that place. You go to another room. Don't, because in front of them, if you are there, then they lose temper more and more. You go to another place. That's what I would do, and you have to deal with such people. Because at the spur of the moment, if you ask them, why are you losing your temper? What happened? What did I do wrong? Then they become even more angry. But when they are in a normal mood, I learned actually in my spiritual master in one of the lectures says that if adolescent guy like father and son becomes very angry with the father should rub his back like this. Better relax. So by that they actually become calm. You can calm down. Please take some water, relax. We will talk another time. Yes. Next.
Question by Mother Kushbu.
And also we can
Krishna
think,
has
we can
mentioned.
also think in our mind, maybe there may be some element of truth in that fellow's anger. Maybe that fellow has been repeatedly telling me to do something and I never kept the delivery promise. Maybe I should be careful. That is the way Sattva-guna person thinks. What can I do in my life by which I can make that person happy? We don't get into a blame game. They are all bad. I am the only one good. That is not Sattva. Sattva means we take responsibility for our actions. Yeah. Yes.
Krishna has mentioned to do your prescribed duties, but sometimes while doing our prescribed duties, our Rajasic guna increases unknowingly. How to balance that?
Yeah. Therefore, I was talking about the food, the type of food that we eat is one of the aspects. And also in future sessions, I'll be explaining more about reaction and overreaction and all things will come. There'll be practical examples and we will change our thought process. The way we are currently thinking and we have to think alternatively in sattvic type of thinking. Actually, it is a kind of practice. If we do that practice repeatedly, it will not be like a guerrilla warfare for us. Suddenly you are thrown into the situation. It won't be like that. You are mentally prepared before facing situations. So in doing our activities, we tend to go overboard, rajasic, as you said, which is very true for all of us. So we can be more watchful and keep a kind of balance. Sattva can be cultivated. It is not impossible. It can be cultivated. Even Raja Rishis, kings, they were actually, Raja means rajas, passionate, but they were guided by saintly people like Chanakya guided Chandragupta Maurya. Like Tukaram and Ramdas, Samarth Ramdas, they guided our Shivaji Maharaj. You will see that. Pandavas were guided by the Dhaumya Rishi, Vedavyas, and Lord Krishna. So the kings were always guided. Similarly, if you join this type of programs regularly, you will see that we gradually, over a period of time, gain control of our own emotions. And we know that now I am going overboard, then we can put a break. If I am very slow and in comfort zone, I can stretch a little bit. Both we can do. Yes. Because in Sattvaguna, you have control over your emotions. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. If we cannot give up eating meat due to some reason, like whole family eats meat, what should we do then?
Actually, if you want to give up meat, actually, meat has a lot of disadvantages. Actually, our human intestine is 30 feet long. It takes a long course to go. A lot of diseases come also. Digestion is also very difficult. It is costly also. Anatomically, doctors can tell you it's not very conducive for health. Some people eat meat thinking that I'll get more strong. But for your information, even elephant is a vegetarian. He's also so strong. So one can, if you suddenly stop the meat, then parents may be annoyed with you. Why are you stopping? Then actually you can request them to make like soya beans and such kinds of very nutritious channa and everything. They can make and give, and you can tell them that you are developing a kind of, hatred for eating meat. It's not, you don't like the taste these days. You can say like that. Actually, when you are grown up beyond 18 or 20 or 25, then parents don't restrict so much, provided you are doing your material life very well. If you are academically sound, if you are doing well in profession and bringing money, you have a lot of freedom and choice, I can tell you. Only if you are a kid, if somebody is like below 13 or below 14, then they just have to do what others are doing. When you're grown up boy, parents will respect your freedom also. They will appreciate and respect your choice. Yeah.
Question by Mother Jayashri. Prabhuji, you told about impurities of mind. We have been clinched to it for a long time. How do we repair and get away with it forever?
Good question. Very good question. Very sincere question, actually. Actually, chanting of the holy name can very easily remove these impurities. Yan nama shruti matrena puman bhavati nirmalaha. It is said. And nama shruti means like we chanted Hare Krishna mantra. Puman bhavati nirmalaha means the heart becomes nirmal. Mal means impurity. Nirmal means you become free from impurities of the heart. It is exactly like taking a wet cloth and wiping a dusty mirror. When you do that, then all the dust is gone. You can see your face very clearly. Like that, the chanting of Hare Krishna does it. Like that. There's another famous verse. Avashenapi yannamni kirtite sarvapatakaihi tatas sadyo vimuccheta simhatrashtair mrigairiva. If a lion roars in a jungle, then all the small animals will flee in all directions. Similarly, if one roars the chanting of Hare Krishna, then all the impurities in our heart will flee in all directions. Just like it's like switching on a tube light in a dark room. All the darkness is dissipated. So you try this chanting. If you haven't been doing, you do it regularly, just 108 times a day. One round you do it and see for yourself. Yeah, next.
Next question from Shreya. Prabhuji, you said that passion is extreme, but isn't it necessary for success in anything we choose to do, including bhakti?
Yeah, actually, we should not be aggressive. We should not be passive. We should be assertive. And what is assertive? Passive means tamaguna. Aggressive means rajaguna. And assertive means rajaguna guided by sattvaguna. So as you rightly said, to start project, you need passion. But to maintain a project, you need goodness. It is said it requires charisma to attract people, but it requires character to hold them. It is said. In the same manner, in you can see Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Brahma is creating, that is passion. and Lord Shiva is destroying, that is ignorance, and Lord Vishnu is maintaining, and Vishnu stands for sattva. huh? So therefore, we already have rajas in this world automatically, but we only want to add the element of sattva into it. Then we will become very balanced, and you will be a very successful leader. You will have a combination of rajas and sattva, and that raja means, as I told you, raja, and sattva is noble saint. So when you add these two, you become Raja Rishi. Like that we can become, yes. 2 minutes
Another
we have.
interesting question
Yeah.
is question on few questions are there on chanting. Actually, we're just clubbing together. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, requesting you to please give us some tips for getting up early in Brahma Muhurta. And similar question is there by another devotee by Tarun, who's saying, Prabhuji, I try to get up at 5:30, but however, if I feel drowsy rest of the day, although I want to get up by 4:30, how do I do it?
Yeah, that is
Waking up
because
early so that I can stay alert.
probably he is not getting adequate rest. You need 6 to 7 hours rest. So you have to go to bed early, which most people are not able to do. Like ideal would be 9, like 9 to 4, if you can get time for your sleep. Then 4 o'clock when you wake up, you'll be fresh all day. Because 9 to 12 itself is like 6 hours. So you can imagine 9 to 3, 3:30, 4 you have slept. You'll be very, very fresh. But in the beginning stage, when you are changing the timing, that time you'll feel drowsy for some time, maybe 1 or 2 months. Eventually, you will get used to it. Therefore, don't suddenly change time. If some of you are sleeping at 12, you can start sleeping at 11:30 for 1 month, then next month 11. Like that, you can gradually shift your clock like this. And then 9:30, you try to sleep. And morning, you will be so fresh. Early morning, even I memorize many shlokas and all the early morning. And shlokas get imprinted in no time in the mind in the early morning hours. And you will be able to do it by practice. For getting up in Brahma Muhurta, two things are very important. One is sleep early and then rise early, which means if you want to get up at 4, you have to sleep latest by 9:30. Then you can get up at 4. And if you're sleeping at 9, then keep the alarm clock on the top of a bureau or cupboard or anything. So that in the morning, get up, that time, you will not be able to put the snooze. If it is on the top of bureau, by the time you put on the light and search it, you will be awake. Yeah. So is it time,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Mansa Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, is 8:32. Because the session was so practical and relevant, we feel sorry that we could not take questions of many. There are so many questions are coming in. So, Prabhuji, as per your wish, if you wish to take more, or we can pause it, we can continue next week, whatever you decide.
It will get late for them also, no? Maybe 5 more minutes I can give. Some important questions you can ask 5 more. Because today we had some interruption in between. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. So here is one question: how to overcome anger or short temper?
Yeah. See, for one of the first things we should know is anger is one letter short of danger. If you remove the D, we get anger. It's very dangerous, it is. Anger has spoiled relationships within family. Anger has caused wars. We have lost friendships. And because of anger, many big industrial CEOs have lost their vice presidents, and they have left the company and joined the rival company. And because of anger, our mind becomes very toxic, and it becomes very negative and full of hatred. And we actually can feel the negative feelings in us, and we get sick, we get diseased. Adrenaline goes to the head and all over the body, and because of which we get varieties of diseases in the body also. So one should think about all the consequences of anger. So by understanding the consequences of anger, see what is anger? Anger is a very strong emotional energy generated within us to protest against something that is going against my values. So I have to ask the question, why am I angry now at this moment? Like for example, parents feel that the child is playing all day and not studying. So the parents may get angry. Similarly, somebody is lethargic, lazy. So you are a very dynamic person, but you have a subordinate who is very slow person. Then the mismatch causes anger. So I have a full article on anger management. I can pass it on to Madan Sundar Prabhu. How will you send it to this devotee? I can send a PDF.
If they have registered. Yeah, if they have registered, we can send them out an email,
So
or also
I
can
will send
share
you a
on the
PDF
WhatsApp and the Telegram group.
on anger management. I have made a beautiful article, and I'll send you a PDF which you can share with them. Huh? Yeah,
Sure, Prabhuji. Yes. We have another question on the subject of chanting, where
yeah,
Dheeraj is asking, is it required to do chanting only in Padmasana? And if you miss to do it during early morning, can we do it in the late evening or during night?
yeah. You can do in the evening also. Actually, morning is very the sattva guna is more, and chanting is very easy. Meditation is actually time meant for meditation early morning. That is sattva guna, and daytime is in rajoguna. Night is in tamoguna. So because night is in tamoguna, the external environment is tamasic. Whereas in the Brahma Muhurta hour, all the what do you call it? The ghosts and all kinds of rakshasas and all, they are all sleeping in the early morning hour. Huh? Therefore, they will not create any trouble in the environment. There is no environmental pollution in that. So our mind can be very calm and focus very easily. But evening time, it is actually the tamas increases in the. So it will be a little struggle for us in the evening chanting to concentrate. But in case you couldn't do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening. That will be all right. Yeah. Hmm?
There's a question by Panch Tirtha.
Hmm?
The question is in Hindi. Prabhuji, जीवन का आखिरी उद्देश्य क्या है?
आखिरी उद्देश्य प्रेम है जीवन का। हाँ? क्योंकि हम सब लोग प्रेम के लिए तरस रहे हैं। जैसे आप देखेंगे हम जो बच्चे होते हैं माँ से बहुत प्रेम करते हैं, उसके बाद पिता से करते हैं, उसके बाद भाई बहन से करते हैं, उसके बाद हमारे दादाजी दादी जी नाना सबसे करते हैं, उसके बाद हमारे जाति वालों के साथ प्रेम करते हैं, उसके बाद हमारे देश को प्रेम करते हैं, उसके बाद मानवता के साथ प्रेम करते हैं। इस तरह जब प्रेम एक सीमा में ना रहकर ऐसे बढ़ता जाता है, मानवता को प्रेम करने के बाद भी अनेक इंसान गोमांस खाता है, जानवरों को मारता है। इसलिए अगर हमारे प्रेम को सब जीवों के ऊपर करना हो, तब भगवान को प्रेम करेंगे, तब हम सब जीवों को प्रेम कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि सब जीव भगवान के ही बच्चे हैं। यही बता रहा था मैं लेक्चर में भी। और दूसरी बात है कि भगवान के साथ हम प्रेम करेंगे। प्रभुपाद जी बोलते हैं कि अगर आप कृष्ण के साथ मैत्री जोड़ोगे तो कृष्ण कभी नहीं मरेंगे, और आत्मा हम भी नहीं मरेंगे कभी। अगर कृष्ण को अपने अपने पुत्र बना लिया, बच्चे बना लिया, वो कभी नहीं मरेगा, वो बच्चा हमेशा के लिए रहेगा आपके साथ। लेकिन इस दुनिया में हम संबंध जोड़ते हैं, जब वो लोग मर जाते हैं संबंध टूट जाता है, हम रोते हैं। लेकिन अगर कृष्ण को हम पुत्र बनाया तो कभी रोना नहीं पड़ेगा हमको। इसलिए हम भगवान के साथ संबंध जोड़ना चाहिए, जो शाश्वत प्रेम जग जाएगा। तो उस प्रेम जगाकर हम सब जीवों को प्रेम कर पाएंगे, तो तभी असली शांति सुख आनंद का अनुभव हम कर सकते हैं। और मृत्यु के बाद हम भगवान के धाम लौटकर शाश्वत काल के लिए हम भगवान के नित्य लीला में जुड़ जाएंगे, जिसके बारे में आप महाभारत रामायण भागवतम इत्यादि में पढ़ते हैं। इसी तरह की लीला में जैसे पांडव लोग भगवान के साथ जुड़े थे, हनुमान भगवान के साथ जुड़े थे, इस तरह हम भी लीला में जुड़ जाएंगे। वही जीवन का परम लक्ष्य है।
Yeah, it's a very important question. Many times people ask this. So here Mother Komal is asking, many times we kill other living entities like cockroach, through pest control, because food has to be prepared to serve the Lord, because you have to keep the kitchen clean. So how can we remain sinless, when we are actually engaged in killing of living entities?
The first thing is we should keep our kitchen so clean that these creatures cannot come. For example, morning sometimes we put all the spoons and vessels which are unwashed in the sink, we put it, because we don't have time to wash. Later in the daytime you come and see the cockroaches moving around because they have some eatables there. Mainly they come for the eatables. In my room also, sometimes an eatable would be there, the rats were coming. So the moment I removed all the eatables, no more rats after that, because that's what they're looking for, isn't it? So I would say that keep it at most clean. Don't give any opportunity for them to come. And if they come, try to remove them physically and throw them at a faraway place so they cannot come if possible. In extreme cases, sometimes we put pest control because, like mosquitoes also, some people say that they may cause some dengue and so many other problems. I tell them, why don't you use a mosquito net instead of taking the electric bat and just burning them and roasting them? And then one boy was asking, but what if mosquito goes and bites the neighbor? I told them, then they can also have a mosquito net. So if we have to avoid our karma when we are dealing with other poor innocent creatures, we should try our best to avoid killing as far as possible. Yeah.
Mother Urvi is asking how to have complete faith in God. I want to put all my faith in God, but my faith varies every time with the state of mind.
Yeah, actually, you are not the mind, you are the soul. Mind is simply a covering over you, which is actually constantly changing. Our material body made of flesh and bones is changing, mind is changing. These are all vehicles inside which you are sitting. And there are various ways to understand the presence of God. Putting faith in God is not a very difficult thing at all. As I told you, yeah, as soon as you were born, you opened your eyes. mm, You saw the sun, you saw the moon, you saw the stars, you saw the grains, fruits, cereals, all the things created in the world. You didn't create it, I didn't create it. Someone has created all of this beautiful things. And not only that, we are dependent on them. We can't live without the grains and the fruits and vegetables. We can't live without them. So, how much totally we are dependent on God? If God doesn't convert the ocean water, salty water, into pure potable water through the clouds and give us, what would happen to us? We won't have any drinking water. If God doesn't send the sunlight to us, we won't be able to survive. So, in this way, our dependence on God should be seen. And I will also suggest Madan Sundar Prabhu, our Discover Yourself session on God's existence. Actually, I have uploaded it in one simple place, dys.radheshyamdas.com. If you go there, you will find it. DYS stands for Discover Yourself. You just put www.dys.radheshyamdas.com. There you will go through those first 8 sessions, and you will get answers to all these questions.
I will request the admin to also type in this link on the comment
Yeah.
so the concerned person can actually get the link and doesn't miss it out. And we'll also share on the WhatsApp. Here, Revti ji is asking, how should I develop bhakti in my family? They're more inclined to materialistic things and they refuse chanting.
Actually, you being a relative, if you tell them, they are not going to take it seriously. You should find out some devotee whom they love very much, and through that devotee, you should preach to your family members. You just if you are a daughter, be a good daughter. If your wife, be a good wife. You try just be nice and earn their good name from them, but preach through others. Mansapu, I can also do one more thing. If
Yes, Prabhuji.
all these questions are sent to me, I can make a video of question
Yes.
answers, and I can
Okay.
send the link to you. You can upload it. So thank you
Sure.
all for your
Sure.
enthusiasm
Thank
and
you so
interest in
much.
joining. Shil Prabhupada ki jai.